Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Sonal Bhutra. With me, as always, is Vivek Iyer. And what a stellar rally today. We are above the 25,900 mark. Third consecutive day of uptick on the markets. Midcaps doing well. Banks, in fact, as a matter of fact, are underperforming the markets today.
That's right. Good afternoon, Sonal. And like you mentioned, 25,900 has been scaled by the Nifty, so that's a good part. And when you're looking at the mid-cap index, up almost 0.9%, so a lot of rally seen within the broad end of the markets. Well, a lot lined up on the show, so let's start off with the top headlines. It's a strong Wednesday trade as the market rallies. Sensex sees gains of 700 points. Mid-cap index hits a record high. IT, along with oil and gas, are among the top sectoral performers.
The stock of Grow owner Billion Brains Garage Ventures scales 120 post its listing, a 20% premium to its offer price of 100 in a promising debut.
Earnings boost seen for multiple stocks. Companies like Parag Milk, IOL Chem, BLS International and Kirloskar Oil Engine surge on the back of strong Q2 numbers.
Max Financial Services gains after reporting its Q2 numbers. Company sees AP growth of 16% and management tells CNBC-TV18 that they expect VNB margins to sustain between 24 to 25% in FY26 and they expect GST impact to be nullified over the next 1 to 2 quarters.
BSE's strong Q2 show helps fire up capital market stocks. The exchange's turnover data remains strong despite a change in the expiry date.
Okay, those are the top headlines, but the bigger headline is that the Nifty has scaled the 25,900 mark. It's a 220-point rally that we are seeing right now. Mid-caps in line with the exchanges currently. The Bank Nifty, though, is underperforming in a market like this. Just imagine 0.4% of a rally, and we're calling it an underperformance. That's the kind of markets that we are seeing right now. Info Edge has reported numbers. So those numbers, the analysis will also be up for you on the screen in just a bit. A wee bit of come off from the highs, and that's led by the Bank Nifty in the markets as well right now. So revenues are 14% for Info Edge. We do have profit before tax and one-time gain at 350 crore rupees versus 331 crore rupees. So we'll understand the breakup in different segments as well. What has happened in terms of segmental performance and what the outlook of the company is going forward as well. But mid-caps, they take all the action away.
That's right. Sonal, in the last 15 minutes, I think there have been around 7 to 8 earnings that have hit the screens. IRB, Infra, Info Edge, quite a few numbers. Insecticides India too. So a lot lined up. But this is our special segment, Mid-Cap Movers. Hormaz is standing by the wall to take us through the mid-caps that are moving around in the session.
Well, earnings aside, the mid-cap index has hit a record high just a few minutes earlier, surpassing the previous ones, and it is continuing to move higher. No breaks on the mid-cap index right now, 520 points higher. We'll start off with the stocks that are taking the market higher today predominantly, and that is IT. And you take a look at large-cap IT, take a look at mid-cap IT, all of them contributing to those gains. LTI, Mindtree, Emphasis, Persistent, even the larger names are doing well for themselves. Well, in terms of positive earnings reactions, there are a lot of names that are seeing double-digit gains in today's session. You look at Pearl Global, look at Kirloskar Oil, Parag Milk, all of them trading with gains of as much as 15% in today's session in response to their results. What has not had a very pleasant reaction to their results is Office Space Solutions, was down almost 10% at one point. Thermax continues to move lower, and PI Industries, after the subdued management commentary on the road ahead, has resulted in the stock taking a bit of a nosedive just a few minutes earlier. Stocks doing well on the volumes front. Tejas Networks, a major underperformer this year, but today trading with gains of around 7%. BLS International reported earnings a few days ago. I've seen a big spike in the last few minutes, 10% higher on that stock now. And Sirma SGS continuing to build on to yesterday's gains, 6.5% higher here as well. And lastly, stocks that are at a 52-week high in today's session. Yatra, the 4-day winning streak has taken the stock above its IPO price of 142. Carousel continues to move higher as well, and Cartrade Tech now nearing its record high levels of 3180, 5.5% higher on that stock as well.
Take that point. Thank you so much for joining us. So with all those names, Hormuz, some interesting moves on individual names. Let's welcome Siddharth Rai Mangla from Stockbox Technologies for a technical check on the markets. Siddharth, good afternoon. What's happening? What are the charts suggesting now? Will we see higher levels from here, or is it due time? It could be the time where we could see some profit booking from the highs.
Hi, Sonal. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me, first of all. See, Soon this momentum which started building up in the second half yesterday, it has only become stronger with time because one Nifty has very easily managed to take on these big levels of 25,700, 25,800. These were big resistances for the past few days. Nifty very easily managed to go past them because of some very good breakouts in heavyweights like Reliance and even in IT space. And secondly, even after a very good opening today, Sonal, Nifty was very comfortably trading around 25,900 for the most part of it, and then we moved on towards the day's high and breaking out above even 25,900. So I do think that this momentum is here to stay, and even we can see it extending towards 26,000, 2650 levels, probably even by the closing today, and that is not being too optimistic because I do think that this momentum is very strong. So.
Okay, and Siddharth, and what are your individual picks for the day?
Yeah, sure, Vivek. I see two stock picks. Both of this we have to buy. The first one is Emphasis from the IT space. There is a very good breakout in this counter. In fact, even if we look at the past few months, this stock has shown a lot of resilience compared to the other stocks in IT space. So I do think there is a lot of space for an up move in this counter. Emphasis can be bought right now. The spot is trading around 2852. You can buy it here. The stop loss will be 2825, and our targets being the first target 2905, the second target 2925. The second stock is Sona BLW, Sona Comstar. See, again, there was a very sharp up move in this stock from its lows for the past probably 1 month. Even now, the stock was trading very independently from the whole of market. It is around a very good breakout. Sona BLW is very close to a fresh momentum. So Sona BLW can also be bought. Right now, the spot is trading around 497, 498-ish. We can buy it here. The stop loss will be 489, and our targets being the first target 515, second target 520.
Okay, so those are individual names, Siddharth. Any trade on Bank Nifty? What do you think would be an important level to watch? What kind of moves do you expect?
Definitely, Sonal. If we, straight away look at Bank Nifty, it might be looking like an underperformance. But after all that up move which we saw in Bank Nifty in October, this was kind of a breather. And I was waiting for this breakout above 58,200 in spot for Bank Nifty for the past few days, and now finally in today's session this breakout has come. So I do think Bank Nifty is heading towards 59,000 and 59,300 in the next few days, and Bank Nifty will be an outperformer compared to Nifty. I do think so because the kind of we'll be making our the new fresh high probably in the next couple of days too. So Bank Nifty looks even more stronger compared to Nifty when we look at the structure.
Okay, Siddharth, thank you so much for joining us, giving us a view on the markets, individual trading picks as well. Well, we'll move on and we'll slip into a short break. We'll put the spotlight on IOL chemicals and advanced enzymes on the other side. Welcome back to Midcap Radar. Well, as promised, a lot of midcap companies that delivered results are moving very sharply in the session. IOL chemicals and advanced enzymes are buzzing in trade after reporting their Q2 numbers. Ekta joins us with more details.
Thanks for that. Well, I'll start with IOL Chemicals, where the revenue growth has been quite steady. It's up around 8%. And the growth was primarily driven by the pharma segment, which was up around 14.5%. Now, margins have improved year on year as well, which is basically which was again led by the pharma segment. So, for example, the EBITDA is up around 37% this quarter. Margins are at around 10% this quarter versus 8% on a year-on-year basis. And the profit is up around 56%. Now, for the pharma segment in particular, the EBIT has grown 44% on a year-on-year basis, and the EBIT has risen for the chemical segment as well, though it's been quite subdued in terms of revenue. So overall, steady growth coming in for IOL Chemicals, which has primarily been led by the pharmaceutical segment. Now, in terms of advanced enzymes, if you look at it, the revenue has been steady, so it's up above 25% in terms of growth this quarter. The EBITDA has grown to around 42%. Has grown 42% to around 60 odd crores. with the margins expanding to 32.5%, which is an expansion both year on year as well as on a sequential basis. And the profit is up around over 30% on a year on year basis. So overall, good going for both IOL Chemicals as well as Advanced Enzymes in terms of a reaction.
Oh yes, what a stellar move. Thank you so much for joining us with all those details, Ekta. And of course, it's a mid-caps day. We are seeing almost a 1% gain on that index. We do have something like an Indocom that reported numbers yesterday that is up 11% in trade. There's Tejas Networks, which is up 7%. GSFC also reported numbers. So that index is seeing gains of 6.5%. Transformers and rectifiers reported numbers of the weekend, and there's some gain that we are seeing currently here. Greaves Cotton is the other one, 5.5% higher. Sirma SJS is another stock which is seeing gains of around 6.5%. Zia Entertainment is up 4.5%. Wellspun Living is the other stock which is on our radar, up around 5%. Parak Milk Foods on the back of a good set of numbers. We are seeing a gain of 13% there. Gujarat Chlorochemicals is up 5%. Actually, a name is stock. There's some stellar rally that is coming by. But of course, there are declining stocks as well in the mid-cap space. But for now, we'll do one thing. We'll slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll put spotlight on Thermax. That stock is declining. On the other hand, Kirloskar Oil Engines, that stock is doing well in trade. We'll talk about these two names in greater detail. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar, and Thermax is the other stock on our radar. It is lower in trade, reported a weak set of Q2 numbers. There was some commentary coming in from the management as well in conference call. Winnie is joining us with more details and what the management indicated. Winnie?
Hi. So yes, absolutely a weak set of numbers that came in from the company this time, and the stock opened up in the red as well with sharp cuts. Miss on all fronts, execution was a challenge. Obviously, margins was impacted by adverse product mix, project cost overruns that were there, and key segments also the industrial product and industrial infra side. Industrial infra and chemicals specifically saw a sharper decline in terms of the performances on the EBIT front as well. So obviously those were the factors that impacted the earnings. Now in the con call, what the management key highlights that I would like to say is one, they said that the order book, they expect that to grow for more than 20% in FY26. They're confident of getting that 20% growth. Revenue and profitability, they said that yes, there were challenges this time, especially in the first half of the year, FY26, but they expect that to ease off in the second half of the year, and overall they would perform better in FY26 versus FY25. Order backlog is going up in TWES segments for them. That is what the company highlighted. They expect large orders now to start coming in for the second half of the year, especially in the TWBES segments. Volume, they said, have started picking up as well in October and November. So they're expecting positive signs in the second half of the year. That is something that we'll be keeping an eye out on. Though for chemical business, they said that they're still below their expectation of or internal target that they have of 250 crores quarterly order book over there. They're still below that level. So that is something, they're at around 200 crores. They want to come up to 250 crores. They're still below that level, but they're working towards that. But I expect second half to be better in terms of all the challenges they think. Seems like a bit in terms of worse is over for them as of now.
Well, Vinny, thank you so much for that. Like you mentioned, a lot of one-offs is what has been holding back the trajectory as far as Thermax is concerned. But hold on, you've also been tracking Kirloskar Oil Engines, that particular stock higher on very strong volumes. How did Q2 look?
So Q2 for this one is a different story, right? Strong set of numbers that came in from the company. Revenue, profits above the BBG estimates. Margins were in line with estimates as well. Strong growth that the company managed to see in its B2B sales. Mainly that was led by the power generation as well as the industrial segment. So 40+% growth on a year-on-year basis in Q2 FY26. Even international market, when you look at that, that continued to see a strong performance in Middle East and North Africa as well. So MENA region, that is what they saw strong growth coming in. And overall, 34% growth in Q2 this time. Margins at 13.38%, stable, largely stable on a year-on-year basis. Profit seeing a growth of 27% as well. And exports that also saw growth of 35%, and domestic side of the business also saw a good growth of more than 30%. So yes, a good growth that is coming in there. for the company, and that is why the stock is passing it through.
Oh yes, big surge in the stock price as well. Thank you so much, Benny, for joining in and giving us a sense of these two names. Let's move on. The demerged commercial vehicles business of Tata Motors has listed on the bourses at around 340 rupees a share. The listing, which comes a month after the listing of the passenger vehicles business, was in line with the brokerage's expectations. Rashna spoke to Girish Wagh, who is the MD and CEO at Tata Motors, to understand the outlook for the commercial vehicles entity of Tata Motors going ahead. Listen in.
Let me give a historic context. I think Tata Motors listed as Tata Engineering and Locomotive Company Limited way back in 1955. Since then, the commercial vehicle business of Tata Motors has been contributing to the country's economy, country's progress, especially in road transportation, infrastructure building. And today marks a very important historic milestone that we are getting listed as a separate entity. Listing as a separate entity gives us now sharper strategic focus, freedom to look at opportunities which are tailor-made for the commercial vehicle business. And looking ahead, we will keep on exploring opportunities which are close to the commercial vehicle and the logistics business. If I may also add, in the past few years, we have driven some strategic shifts in the company which have led to good results in terms of strong margin growth, robust free cash flows, and high return on capital employed, while we also pivoted towards digital and sustainability. Going ahead, profitable growth with all other financial metrics that I mentioned, and looking at the global platform will continue to be our agenda.
So what's your immediate priority?
Immediate priority is, of course, continue to deliver the financial results that we have been doing over the past few quarters and years. I think that's what continues to be the priority.
And your outlook on the industry?
I think post GST rate rationalization, there has been good demand which has been seen on two fronts. Primary demand, mostly in smaller commercial vehicles due to reduction in the prices. And due to increase in consumption, one is also seeing an increase in freight, which will therefore lead to secondary demand, especially for long haul, medium and heavy duty trucks. And therefore, we are quite optimistic about second half of this financial year.
About the regulations, a lot of norms coming in when it comes to emission and also towards electrification. How do you see that?
So decarbonization, circularity will continue to be the most important agenda for us. As far as regulatory roadmap is concerned, there has been a very good close coordination with the government, and whether it is on safety, emissions, CO2, I think there is a close working which is happening, and there is a fair bit of clarity on how the regulatory roadmap will evolve. And as a company, I think we are not only working towards compliance, but actually leading some of the important transitions, especially decarbonization and circularity.
All right, that is Tata Motors CV Business. The commentary coming in from the management. Markets as strong as they were when we started the show. Mid-caps firing away. But with that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Mid-Cap Radar. Stay tuned. Your stocks will come when we return.